Welcome back. Dozens of Texas Democrats are preparing to return to the state after temporarily blocking.
In a dramatic escalation of political tensions, dozens of Texas Democrats are preparing to return to the state after a bold walkout that temporarily derailed Republican-led efforts to redraw electoral districts. The move comes as the Texas House Speaker is expected to adjourn the first special legislative session, signaling a pause in the contentious redistricting battle. A leading state representative, heading the Texas House Democrats, announced that the group would resume their presence if the session concludes, while emphasizing their readiness to challenge the issue in court. The governor, undeterred, has vowed to immediately convene a new special session to advance the Republican agenda, setting the stage for a prolonged showdown. The Texas Democrats' strategy has reverberated beyond state lines, drawing praise from a former president who met virtually with the group to commend their resistance to the redistricting push. This high-profile endorsement underscores the national significance of the fight, which centers on voting rights and electoral fairness. The Texas standoff has inspired other Democratic-led states to consider similar tactics, amplifying the debate over how electoral maps are drawn and their impact on representation. In a parallel development, California's governor faced an unexpected confrontation during an event to discuss state plans, as federal immigration officers, including ICE and Border Patrol agents, appeared at the same location. The governor swiftly dismissed the timing as deliberate, framing the presence of federal agents as an intimidation tactic orchestrated from Washington. He declared that such displays would not sway his resolve, highlighting a growing perception of federal overreach in Democratic strongholds. The appearance of masked federal agents at the California event has sparked widespread criticism, with observers describing the scene as ominous and un-American. The agents, clad in masks and sunglasses without visible identification, were seen as undermining their stated mission of enforcing immigration laws by appearing to target a political gathering. Critics argue that such actions play directly into Democratic narratives, framing Republican-backed enforcement as authoritarian and politically motivated. This incident has fueled accusations that heavy-handed tactics are alienating the public, particularly independent and swing voters who are critical in shaping electoral outcomes. Public opinion on immigration reveals a complex dynamic. Polls consistently show strong support for secure borders and legal immigration pathways, with many Americans aligning with policies championed by the current administration. However, approval ratings for the administration's immigration approach remain low, driven not by disagreement with the policies themselves but by their execution. High-profile incidents such as family separations at the border, masked agents at political events, and reports of individuals being detained in unmarked vehicles have sparked unease. These actions, particularly when they occur near college campuses or community gatherings, evoke imagery that many Americans find unsettling, undermining the broader goal of border security. The controversy over enforcement tactics coincides with a shifting political landscape as midterm elections loom. Recent polls indicate Democrats are gaining significant ground in generic ballots, posting leads of 3 to 7 points in multiple surveys. This surge has fueled optimism within the party, with some analysts suggesting that a wave election could deliver a Senate majority. States like Maine, where Democrats previously secured strong presidential victories, and North Carolina, where a popular governor is polling competitively, are seen as prime opportunities. The recruitment of high-profile candidates, including a populist Ohio senator persuaded to re-enter the race after a narrow loss, bolsters Democratic hopes. Even long-shot states like Alaska, Iowa, and Texas are under consideration, though the electoral map remains challenging. Historical parallels underscore the potential for dramatic shifts. Wave elections in 1974, 1980, 1986, and 1994 reshaped Congress, often as a backlash to perceived overreach by the party in power. In 1974, Democrats capitalized on public discontent to secure a landslide. The 1980 Reagan Revolution swept away entrenched Democratic senators, while 1986 saw Democrats reclaim the Senate despite Republican dominance. The 1994 Republican wave flipped both chambers, catching many by surprise. These examples highlight how administrations can misinterpret narrow victories as broad mandates, leading to policies or actions that provoke voter backlash. For Republicans, The current trajectory raises concern.
Donald Trump right now is upside down in some polls on immigration.
Yeah, and that's
Aggressive enforcement tactics, such as deploying masked agents or National Guard units to public spaces, risk alienating the moderate voters who are crucial in competitive races. While these actions may energize certain segments of the base, they are increasingly seen as pushing away independents. Media outlets and editorial pages have seized on incidents like the California event to criticize what they describe as authoritarian overreach, further amplifying Democratic messaging. Democrats, meanwhile, face a strategic dilemma in responding to these developments. Some advocate for bold, confrontational measures, viewing the current moment as a critical opportunity to challenge executive actions. The California governor described the situation as a break-the-glass moment, suggesting a need for a
fairly narrow margin, overinterprets that margin as a huge
aggressive resistance. Others caution that escalation could backfire, potentially strengthening the administration's narrative and complicating efforts to build a broad coalition against its policies. The party must carefully calibrate its response to capitalize on public unease without alienating centrist voters who may share concerns about border security but recoil at heavy-handed enforcement. The broader political context adds urgency to these debates. Polls suggest the administration is struggling on multiple fronts, including immigration, where approval ratings lag despite policy alignment with public sentiment. This disconnect reflects not only enforcement missteps but also a broader perception of overreach. As Democrats' eye gains in the House and potentially the Senate, their ability to harness this sentiment will be critical. Strong candidates and favorable polling in key states provide a foundation, but the outcome will hinge on whether voters perceive the current administration's actions as justified or excessive. The Texas and California episodes highlight a deeper struggle over democratic norms and the balance of power. In Texas, the fight over redistricting is not just about maps but about representation and access to the ballot box. In California, the clash over federal enforcement raises questions about the appropriate role of federal authority in state and local affairs. Both situations underscore the stakes of the upcoming midterms, where issues of governance, civil liberties, and electoral fairness will be central. As the nation approaches these pivotal elections, the interplay of policy and perception will shape the outcome. Republicans risk losing ground if their tactics continue to alienate moderates, while Democrats must navigate a delicate balance between resistance and restraint. The memory of past wave elections looms large, reminding both parties that voter sentiment can shift rapidly in response to overreach or miscalculation. For now, the Texas Democrats' return, the California confrontation, and the broader national debate signal a contentious road ahead, with profound implications for the balance of power in Washington and the future of American democracy.
Said yesterday that this is a break-the-glass moment and talked about, ever more extreme ways of challenging what Trump is doing. And it's interesting to me to ask, is that the way to get to, decisive rejection of what Trump is doing, or will that make life easier for Trump? So Democrats have to think very carefully